Hey everyone, you are checking out the World of WWE podcast. I am the Mouth of the North, and thank you for joining me today for our NXT July 20th, 2021 official recap. What an episode. The end definitely is near for Karrion Kross or Samoa Joe. Shit hit the fan, and before we get into everything that happened, I would first like to remind you that we are available on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. We are also on YouTube, the World of WWE podcast. What's cool about YouTube is there are different graphics, so you can see what we are talking about as I'm talking about it. So you can see images and pictures, and there's all kinds of different cool stuff on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe. Also, what's good about hitting the notification bell on YouTube and on Spotify and Google Podcasts and wherever else podcasts are streaming is once you hit the notification bell, whenever a new video or podcast is posted, you get a notification right to your phone. You can just click on it, and then it takes you right to the new episode that is streaming. So make sure you hit that notification bell on YouTube so that it just pops up. It's so easy to do. It takes you 1 second to do it. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram at World of WWE on Instagram, and there's much more, but I will leave that in the description. What a show. We actually start out with a video package of the recent happenings that took place last week between Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross. Last week, the NXT champion Karrion Kross actually choked out the sort of security guard, general manager William Regal, in the middle of the ring, and the opening song is the end of with any Attitude Era fan or Ruthless Aggression fan would remember being the main theme song for Armageddon, and it was a killer theme. I will be inserting that later or as we speak. So let's get right to the show. Samoa Joe comes down to the ring and he is pissed. He says, "Tick tock, guess who's come to break your clock?" Samoa Joe basically calls out Karrion Kross. William Regal comes down, and Samoa Joe says that he was provoked. Kross put his hands on a referee. He put his hands on me, and I should have hit him. William Regal says, "Actually, you were not provoked. Karrion Kross put his hands on a referee, not an official." Samoa Joe says that Karrion Kross needs to be put down. William Regal says all hell will not break loose when Karrion Kross gets to the arena. Samoa Joe guarantees tonight will be the end of this. Someone is going to sleep, and he leaves. It is so great to see Samoa Joe in this dominating character. When he was called up to the main roster, he had some great matches, but he wasn't as dominant as he really is and can be. So seeing him in this role ready to take on Karrion Kross and defend NXT is great, and I'm excited to see what is next. Our next match is a tag team match. Bobby Fish and the NXT Cruiserweight Champion Kushida taking on the Diamond Mine, and you have Roderick Strong and Tyler Rust defending or representing the Diamond Mine, of course, with Tyler Bivens. Bobby Fish and Kushida attack before the match starts. It was actually a very good match. Kushida makes Tyler Rust tap out to the hoverboard lock, and it looks as if we are going to see a match between Kushida and Roderick Strong for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship somewhere down the line. I'm excited because both of those men are technical wizards, and they're going to have a great match down the line. Next, we see a segment where Cameron Grimes is supposed to grab LA Knight's bags. Remember, Cameron Grimes lost at NXT TakeOver. Was it TakeOver or was it... No, it was NXT The Great American Bash. It wasn't TakeOver, but it was NXT The Great American Bash. Cameron Grimes lost to LA Knight, and now Cameron Grimes must be LA Knight's butler. So his butler duties for the week was to get LA Knight's bags from the trunk. Cameron Grimes drops then, and then Drake Maverick comes up, and he tries to help Cameron Grimes, but LA Knight gets mad at him and challenges Drake Maverick to a match later tonight. Also, we have breaking news. NXT TakeOver 36 will be coming to you live the night after SummerSlam August 22nd, 2021. It's going to be a great night, a huge show, and I'm just excited to see what the NXT talent are going to bring. It is interesting that they're having it the night after SummerSlam. I'm assuming they have to because Friday Night SmackDown is the night before SummerSlam, since SummerSlam this August this year will be on a Saturday, which is very interesting. But NXT TakeOver 36, August 22nd, I will definitely be there watching, and you should too. Up next, we're seeing Jacy Jayne, newcomer, taking on Frankie Monet, who is accompanied to the ring by Jessi Kamea. And we see Robert Stone comes down during the match to kind of like manage Frankie Monet. I don't know if this is becoming a new Robert Stone brand, or it seems as if Frankie Monet is the one that's actually leading things and in charge here. Also, Mandy Rose, who is back at NXT, came down. Remember, she came down last week to watch a contest between Saray and I forgot who Saray fought, but Saray was in the fight. And this week she came down and laid on the announce table as she was scouting and watching Frankie Monet and Jacy Jayne. Frankie got the win after a glam slam. I am very excited to see Frankie Monet here in NXT. She was a huge superstar in Impact Wrestling, a former Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion. She was also in Lucha Underground. She's married to John Morrison. She's a great athlete, and to see her paired up with Jessi Kamea, I'm very excited because Jessi Kamea is very attractive, and I think she's great in the ring. So I'm excited for those two pairings. We also find out that NXT will be on Sci-Fi for the next 2 weeks because of the 2020 Summer Olympics from Tokyo are being shown on USA Network. So NXT will be housing Sci-Fi next week and again the week after. We then see an interview with Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed basically says he will fight Adam Cole next week after losing to him the other week. Up next, we have Kyle O'Reilly taking on Austin Theory. Theory tries to use the ring steps, and then eventually Austin Theory taps out after a leg lock, and Kyle O'Reilly doesn't automatically break the hold right after the match. It was a great match, a good technical fight between both men, and Austin Theory just looked like a great one-on-one competitor, and he showed that he can do his thing in the ring, and Kyle O'Reilly, of course, is a technical wizard too, so he always looks great. Next up, we have Raquel Gonzalez, the NXT Women's Champion, backstage with Dakota Kai. And Raquel says that after she beats Xia Li tonight, there is no one left to fight. And Dakota Kai kind of looks at her, and I don't know, guys. I'm making a prediction here. I feel like Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are going to have a brawl eventually. Their friendship is not going to last, and I'm excited to see who will be next to step up to Raquel Gonzalez if she defeats Xia Li later on tonight. We then have a special Mariachi Madness. Legado del Fantasma is in the ring, and Santos Escobar takes the mic, and there's a bunch of mariachi band members at ringside, and Santos Escobar says that he is not going to let the fans listen to this mariachi band because he believes that we do not deserve it. So he then basically trashes Hit Row and everybody else in it, and that's when Hit Row come down, and pretty much Santos tells him that he's going to take Isaiah Swerve Scott's North American Championship, and Hit Row then come down to the ring, and Legado and Hit Row start brawling, and eventually Isaiah Swerve Scott hits Joaquin Wilde with a guitar, and Legado del Fantasma is left fuming. Who knows what's going to happen? It looks as if Hit Row has something coming to them next week in the form of Santos Escobar. We will find out what will happen next week. We then go backstage, and the Way are arguing, and Austin Theory is in the background trying to speak, and no one's really listening to him, giving him the time of day, and he eventually just says, fuck this, and he just leaves. He doesn't say anything, he just takes off, and no one was paying any attention to him, so I think the storyline is going to be that maybe Austin Theory might be on his own. We have our next NXT Breakout Tournament, Andre Chase taking on Odyssey Jones, and Oz got the win after a big power slam. This man's giving me Mark Henry vibes. He's a big dude. Not too great athletically, but he's okay. So that's it. Odyssey Jones advancing in the Breakout Tournament. The NXT Tag Team Champions MSK are backstage, and they start to tell Mackenzie Mitchell the story and the history of how they became MSK, but our video is interrupted by a video from Imperium, and they basically say that they are tired of seeing fools run around with the NXT Tag Team Championships, and it's their time to make the NXT Tag Teams sacred. We then see the $1 Million Champion LA Knight with his butler Cameron Grimes taking on Drake Maverick. Eventually, what ended up happening was Drake got the win after Cameron Grimes accidentally distracted LA Knight, and Drake rolls him up. After the match, LA Knight immediately attacks Drake Maverick. Cameron Grimes tries to help Drake Maverick, but then LA Knight tells him, "Remember, you lost, you're my butler, you have to do what I say." And LA makes Cameron Grimes punch Drake Maverick. And the fans are upset, and Grimes is nervous, but Cameron Grimes is in a position where he has to listen to LA Knight or else. So definitely making our storyline go on. Will Cameron Grimes turn bad, turn heel? We don't know. We will have to see. We are now at our main event. The NXT Women's Championship is on the line. The NXT Women's Champion Raquel Gonzalez, of course, with Dakota Kai, taking on Xia Li. And this match ended in a weird way. So Raquel Gonzalez went for an inverted Vader bomb. It was like a twisting, modified Vader bomb. But all of her body weight landed hard on Xia Li, and it looks like Xia Li legit got injured. And the medical team lets her continue to fight, and eventually Raquel, right after they allow her to compete, Raquel hits a one-arm power slam for the victory. Raquel defeating Xia Li. And finally, our ending segment. Samoa Joe comes down to the ring and he calls out Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross shows up on the Titantron and he says that he can do what he wants and hurt who he wants. And then the camera moves back and we see William Regal is laid out outside in the parking lot. Karrion Kross walks away and Samoa Joe runs out screaming. So there is definitely going to be hell to be paid this upcoming week on NXT. The end is definitely near for Karrion Kross. If Samoa Joe has his way, everything will be known this upcoming Tuesday for NXT. This is a short video, a short recap. I'll be back next week with our NXT recap again. It was a great night full of amazing wrestling and amazing talent. And I'm just excited for NXT TakeOver 36. Remember, you can check NXT for the next 2 weeks on Sci-Fi. They are not on USA Network as the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo are taking place. Make sure you subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, and follow us on Facebook, World of WWE Podcast. And you can listen to us wherever podcasts are streaming. Again, thank you for listening, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.